I thank you, Tim. It's my pleasure to be here, and I thank the Kushwa Center for inviting me. I am mainly going to talk about some historical questions that arise with regard to Vatican II, both as an experience and as an event. The question I'd like to begin with is, what do we mean by Vatican II? Because anybody who reads in some of the literature, both scholarly and popular, will discover that it can have many different meanings. I'm also vividly aware of the fact that I'm looking out here at a number of undergraduates, none of whom was alive, many of whose parents were not alive when the council was held. There are at least 2 generations of Catholics now who have no memory of Vatican II or of the Church as it was before Vatican II. This was illustrated once when I was teaching. An Irish nun put her hand up and said that she had been teaching at a girls' high school in Ireland and had mentioned Vatican II in passing. And she said, she noticed blank looks, and so she said, well, now, girls, you certainly must know what Vatican II is. Nothing. Come now, everyone knows what Vatican II is. And then finally a hesitant hand went up, and this young woman said, would that be the Pope's summer residence? At least she didn't say, is that the sequel? I have discovered certainly 3 and perhaps 4 different meanings that people use when they refer to Vatican II. One is the 16 documents that have been that were produced during the council sessions from 1962 to 1965, which can be gathered easily into a small paperback book. This there in black and white, you can find what the council wanted to say, what it did say, also the result of what it did. This is pretty obvious, and this is particularly pertinent from a canonical standpoint and for a theological standpoint, or for those parish priests who may have somebody come up to them and ask if you could have a funeral service for my guppy, and if he says no, they say, well, wouldn't that be in the spirit of Vatican II? You could say, well, show me where there's anything like this. Secondly, you can consider Vatican II as what happened between January 25th, 1959, when Pope John XXIII announced the council, and December 8th, 1965, when it was brought to a close. This I would prefer to call the experience of the council. I'm going to say a few more things about that. In other words, I'm going to use this as to refer to the intentions, the thoughts, the decisions, the actions taken by the protagonists, the participants in Vatican II, during that period. However, and I do so, I think one needs to go back and to retrieve that, because as Father Congar, Yves Congar, who was a major participant and had a great deal to say about some of the most important of the texts that came out of Vatican II, a council is not simply a machinery for producing texts. And so there is an element there of the experience that needs to be recovered. A third meaning of Vatican II, which one occasionally finds, adds to the experience, to what happened during those years, also what happened after the council, where in many parts of the world the council had something close to revolutionary consequences. Perhaps you can see these most dramatically if you younger people can compare what it meant for you to grow up Catholic to what it meant to your, well, I can't say your parents, your grandparents, those old people. Because something obviously did happen in the church, and some people, whether for good or for ill, bring all of that as well, the experience of church life after Vatican II, into the phrase Vatican II. With that, I think they are moving toward the second topic in my title, which is the event.